And good morning. Happy June 4th, 2022. And let me know in the comments whether you can hear me and see me. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know over in the comments. If you need IT consulting, head on over to williehowe.com. Click Hire Us, fill out the contact form. Someone will be in touch with you as soon as possible. All right, JH says I'm good. Hopefully this week the stream doesn't drop out like it did last week. And all of our affiliate links are down below. It is appreciated. You don't have to use those. It is appreciated when you do use those because it does kick a couple bucks to the channel. All right, let's go over to the comments real quick. Good morning, Ferris, CH, David, JH, Alonzo, James, Gina, Weibo, 24/7, 247 managed networks. Yeah, good morning. Roger, Gibby. Yes, fantastic. Glad everyone is here. I'm drinking from my Great Smoky Mountains coffee mug. The mountains are calling. I'm not going to get there this year. Good morning, T and Bighorn, Craig. JH says, anyone else get a new estimate for VMware renewals? Nope. I'm moving away from VMware. Even though I'm a VCP 6, going to move away from that. Simon says, any tips on best system for WAN failover, but with some sort of alerting? So, not exactly sure. You're going to have to expand on that, Simon, before we're going to be able to really give you a good answer. That's pretty vague. The details that you've given need a little bit more details. Morning, Brian, Michael. Good morning, everyone. So, I've got a couple of cameras here. I've got the G3 and G4 micro, and I don't think that, or not micro. Are these not the flex? Yeah, maybe they are I can't remember off the top of my head. Boxes in the other room. I bought these myself. These were not given to me. The mini UVC G4 instant. Yeah, I don't know why. But I don't think that people have an appreciation for exactly how small these cameras really are. So I have tiny hands, not really tiny, smaller hands. So they look kind of big. But I was like, what could we compare these cameras to so that people could really understand how small they are? Yeah, so instant, yeah. So here's a Flex mini switch, my favorite Ubiquiti switch, the Flex Mini. Go back through the videos, you'll see where we create a portable gigabit Ethernet tap with this. And I was like, okay, so I'll take the G3 and I'll show people this in front of the Flex Mini. Now, the Flex, you know what? I actually have, right off camera, a pack of playing cards. Okay, so what I have here is a standard deck of bicycle playing cards. They've not been opened. I have a fascination with playing cards, so I like to collect cards with different backs. And this one is the expert back playing cards. And so then I am going to show you, so here's the Flex Mini Switch, which, by the way, this can be purchased at the affiliate link down below. Shameless plug there. Here's a deck of playing cards, and you can see how close this switch is to a deck of playing cards. And then I thought, I don't know if anybody has a NetTool, but we can compare this. This is the G3 Instant to a NetTool. So it's smaller than a NetTool. All right, what else do you have besides the NetTool? All right, here it is, SFP Plus module. Side by side with the G3 Instant. It's insane how small this G3 Instant is. And then here's the G4 Instant, which is about 1.5 times bigger than the G3. Both USB-C powered. Videos coming soon. It's interesting to me, every time Ubiquiti creates a product and then everybody buys it and they look at the feedback. So on the bottom of the G3, you'll see that this port is completely exposed. There's a cable path there on the back. But on the G4, they've got a trapdoor that you have to use this little switch to get open. So they've learned things, and every time they release one, it gets better. So videos coming on those soon. I like I said, I paid for those myself. Morning, Cody, David, Aragorn. JH says, I got 22,000 servers. I don't know if Proxmox can scale that big. There are products that can scale that big. Why don't you move to Hyper-V? Didn't. Weibo says, the G3 Instant surprised me a bit. Even with rip-off premiums, it was still pretty cheap, and I installed them at my in-laws. Wireless only, but it does have USB power lead. Yes. And Weibo says, the picture quality of the G3 was solid. I agree. I don't think I got any more details. Simon, we're still going to need more details. You got people guessing in the comments. James says, Peplink or Cradlepoint for WAN failover solutions. I like Cradlepoint myself, or Sierra Wireless. Morning, Systak. Marky Mark says, Willie, Part 3 Ubiquiti Edge Switch 48. When are you getting this done? Maybe never. Maybe. But it is on my list to actually go back and redo those old videos where it was just me and the text pad. And so there's a good chance you're going to see it. But I've got a few other videos I need to get done first. Weibo says, XCP-NG possibly. Must admit, I have no idea if it handles 22,000 servers. I don't either, but I did see that XCP-NG is going to have an official training course, and that is kind of like one of the last things. Like that's going to pull a lot of people from VMware. Good morning, Jeremy. Good morning, Dave. Hey, Joe with Cajoling Technologies is in the house. Go check out his channel if you haven't seen it. He put a couple videos up lately. He's getting back into it. I miss you too, Joe. I'm glad you're here. We got to get the steak logistics figured out, my friend. Simon says, WAN failover. Have 2 DSL and 4G. Have Hostify and UNMS. Want reliability, but also simple alerting to know when we're failing over to backups rather than using only discovering when last link fails. So, what router do you have, Simon? We need to know that. You say you have Hostify and UNMS, but that doesn't tell us what router you have. JH says he's going to play with Proxmox. Morning, John Irish. Yeah, JH, and that's what I was wondering, is if after the XCP-NG creates the official training, if they're going to have a cert path. That's why I'm so tied into VMware, is because the training is expensive, the certification is expensive, but it's very thorough. I'm going to tell you this right now. Unless you're managing the amount of, well, not necessarily 22,000 servers like JH, but unless you're managing daily more ESXi hosts than I am, when you get certified, you're going to learn a lot of things that you're probably never going to touch. Probably 50 to 55% of things I learned in the certification and the labs, because the official training course comes with labs. I've never touched in production, right? So it's one of those things. Let's see. Antonio says, "Good morning. Does Ubiquiti make a ceiling mount for AP Wi-Fi 6 mesh?" Yeah, they've got that same discrete mount that works for the standard AP that looks like the mesh. Should work for the mesh. Good morning, Jonathan from the Philippines. TVJ, good morning. Jason made it. Yep. MVP Kryptonite says G3 Instant is perfect for an intro into Protect or to cover some interior rooms, as it has a wide angle lens and the picture quality is great for the price. G3 Instant, I'm not convinced it's worth 3 times more. I can't tell you that yet. I'll let you know. I do have my dream router here. I've got my G4 Pro doorbell. Like I said, bought a lot of this stuff myself. So you're going to be seeing those videos very, very soon. The other video that you're going to see is I built that box to do the Wi-Fi kind of like torture test. And I'm sitting here thinking like, do I really need a wooden box, right? Because if this RF paint's really going to block RF, shouldn't it do it if I use a cardboard box and paint it and ground it properly? So I think we're going to film some of that later today. Yes, Jason, you made it. Good morning, Stephen. Bob Carpenter in the house. Good morning. JH says, just like CCIE, I'll never use ISIS connection or a Sonnet. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? So they're still teaching stuff like in the Network Plus and the CCNA. It's been a minute since I've seen the CCNA stuff, but they were still teaching about crossover cables and everything when everything is auto-sensing now. A rollover cable is definitely good to know that that's your console cable. JH, do you have your full CCIE? Did you do the written and the practical? I know that some people just do the written and then they never do the practical, which is weird to me with all the preparation that you put in, but I've seen it time and time again. Bob says VMware, now it's going to be even more expensive, and if you're not one of the 600 customers they care about, how would you feel if you were one of the 600? So here's the thing, because of my skill set, I haven't paid for VMware licensing for support in years. We bought our licenses, and then basically we keep up to date with the free patches that come out. But yeah, I've seen something about this, like where they were saying like 600 customers they care about. I need to dig into that and see exactly what that is, because I've seen that come up a couple other times. So maybe if you care to, Bob, explain that a little bit in the comments. So Simon, if you get a USG or a UXG, you are going to be able to get notifications on that failover. With the Edge router, we can do some scripting and we can make it happen, but it's a little clunky and then you've got to maintain it. So if you're already in the ecosystem, I would suggest just using a USG or a UXG. JH says, I think I am, because they emailed me with a renewal quote without asking for it. That's probably a good, those acquisitions, they got to make sure there's money coming in, right? That's probably what triggered some of that. Weibo says, my use case is VM on top of Windows. I was told XCPNG doesn't do that, as is a dedicated hypervisor. Yes, it's a bare metal hypervisor. They're different classifications of hypervisors. But if you want to run a VM on top of Windows, you can use Hyper-V. You can use Oracle VirtualBox. Those two products should be able to take care of you. But why? What does VirtualBox do? Is it breaks the stack. So we use VirtualBox all the time, and we just put the network in, we take it out of NAT and put it in bridge mode, and everything usually works fine. Jason says, are you going to put objects out front of the APs and show what it does to the signal? So we're going to show what it does to the signal, but I specifically have a can of paint that is meant to block and shield from RF, not just Wi-Fi, but all kinds of RF. Weibo says, if you're one of the 600, it'll be a great day to find out how much money the company has to afford the licensing. So we kind of did this like with Veeam, right? We were one of Veeam's first customers, and their product was solid, worked really well. Money gets tight, and then they don't want to work with you, right? So for the same amount of money that the Veeam renewal was going to be, we were able to buy 2 Synology 5-bay devices, populate all the bays, and then back up all of our VMs. And we're already backing up at the file level, right? So now we're just getting a whole VM. So we're able to back up all of the VMs and replicate them for the cost of 1 year. And now I've got a 5-year solution, right? So company's going to company, and I get it. You know, at the end of the day, it's about the shareholders. But, you know, don't come at me and tell me that your product's so much more superior that I'm not going to be happy when I can open up my Synology. I can get into a VM and pull files out of it. Or if my ESXi hypervisor takes a short walk off of, or a long walk off of a short bridge, then I can spin up that VM right on the Synology, right? So Veeam, what are you really doing for me? You know, I get it for people that aren't tech people. I get it for people that don't want to hire tech people. I get it. But that number, I think, is dwindling. And these companies are going to realize that, I mean, especially now, like yesterday, like I don't complain about stuff too much, but the cheapest gas that we could find in Peoria was $5.09. And today it's $5.29. And it's putting the squeeze on all kinds of things, right? So I'm fearful for what's going to happen when gas hits $6 a gallon. Not necessarily for me, but for the well-being of everyone. Jade says, I did the written a while ago, but never did the lab. So do they actually issue you a certificate and a CCIE number, JH, if you just do the written? Or do you have to complete the lab? Bill says they still teach ATM, frame relay, and token ring. Never seen one of them. So I've seen token ring and mouse, IBM mouse. State government was just coming off of them not that long ago. Frame relay we used to use a lot because it was the precursor to MPLS and was much cheaper than point-to-point circuits, especially when you had locations across the United States. And then ATM, you know, the cells over T1s. I mean, at the time, we were like, whoa, this is revolutionary, you know, and they had a special router, and they were doing voice, and they were, you know, and they were doing, you know, they were muxing it, and yeah. Aragorn says, basically, it sounds like Broadcom's plan for VMware is to double or triple price of subscriptions and make money off the companies that it would be too hard to switch away. Top 600. That is unfortunate because I was just getting ready to release a VMware video, how to get VMware, how to load it on the Protectly, and it looks like I'm probably going to switch then. TVJ says, I switched from VMware to XCP-NG for my home lab and absolutely love it. The built-in backup tool is my favorite feature. All right, so I'm sold. We're going to try out XCP-NG instead of VMware. Have you ever had any problems, TVJ, talking to iSCSI targets with XCP-NG? Jason says, I tried XCP-NG2. It brings back days of the Zen server. Yeah, it's based on Zen. Or Zen's based on it, or I don't know, something. Citrix got involved and whatever. Robert says, have you had a chance to check out the new Wi-Fi 6 APs from Omada? 610 and 620, much smaller than the huge size of the 660. Looks so much better. Robert, I have not. So I've been talking to my Omada person, and they want me to get these videos out. They want me to do some comparison videos. Them versus Unify, and I don't think that they're going to like the results. So because they wanted me to do it, I'm going to do it. But I'm going to tell you that the Unify 6 Pro smoked the Omada 6 AP. And then, so I'm going to do it, and they want to send me some more stuff, and I'm on board with Omada. I'm trying to get some training and certification through them, so we'll see how that works out. But yeah, these big APs, I'm going to go ahead and do the videos and stuff so I can get the other APs and see what they look like. Bob says the blurbs going out where the VMware Broadcom are going to focus. Yeah, that's crazy. JH says, look at Zen Orchestra. That must be for failover. Weibo says Ecuador was $1 a gallon and now is around $4 for regular gas. That's crazy. David Anderson says exactly why we left VMware and Veeam. Yep. Steven says move to an EV. Well, funny you should mention that, right? Because in Illinois, at least in the area that I'm in, not only is gas going up, but literally our electricity cost is going to double starting in July. And you can go out, you can look it up. It's Ameren, Illinois. They've been very open about so literally our electricity bill is I'm going to have to, be very selective about what equipment in the lab gets to stay powered on, and I'll be moving some things to solar. Gina says you should try the UK prices for petrol. I'll still take my US prices, but let's see. So it looks like I'm going to start doing some XCPNG videos too. So, and I'll have to check out that register. Everybody, Bob Carpenter posted the register. By the way, if you don't read the register, they have the BOFH, a bastard operator from hell. One of my most favorite things to read in IT. Go check that out. Let's see. TVJ says, I have not had any issues with iSCSI or NFS. They just added S3, and so far it is working well. Okay, cool. Yeah, I know Tom does a lot of, and Tom and I are friends, and Tom and I talk. No secrets there. We're trying to figure out what our business relationship is going to look like. But that doesn't mean that I can't do XCPNG videos, because I also do, I've worked on many people's VMware deployments. And so it shouldn't take me long to be able to transition from VMware to XCPNG, get up to snuff, maybe a month of having it here. And then I'll be able to support it no matter where it's at. I wonder if they'll keep the VMUG stuff. That'd be interesting to know, because VMUG for a home lab, for like $350 a year, you could have access to everything. Yep. Solar. Weibo says EV is not an option in Ecuador. I looked into hybrid, but it was impossible. I can't even get 3-phase to the house without a lot of begging and or potentially purchasing a transformer. That's crazy. Weibo, in Ecuador, how do you pay for electricity in Ecuador? Is it provided through taxes? Is it an additional? This is my ignorance of business in Ecuador and the culture and things like that. If you could tell us in the comments, that'd be awesome. Good morning, Ryu. You know what? I think you and I have been talking on another forum, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Just let me know if I identified you correctly. Craig says, are you just testing the RF paint? Sounds interesting if it works, but would mess with my RF remote for my home audio system, right? So there's, places where you don't want RF getting in. There are places where you don't want RF getting out, sensitive areas and things like that. That's really what we're going to focus it for. It's not going to be for whole home unless you don't want RF. Bob says gas is seven Freedom Eagles per gallon in Vancouver right now. Whew. Gina says UK is about $9 per gallon at the moment. Gina, you typically pay in liters over there, right? I don't know. See, this is my ignorance of how things work outside of my little bubble. Weibo says, Gina, when I left the UK, I was already in major pain using diesel. It was scary high 10 plus years ago, and it just keeps going up. Yeah. Bob says +1 for BOFH, Bastard Operator from Hell. Yeah, check it out. Weibo says, I drove 70,000 miles per year, and it was killing me. I switched to work from home, but I also live in Ecuador now. Let's see. Albert says, hello, is the some new on the 1.12.22 Unify? I don't know what you're talking about, Albert. If you can expand that question, I'll answer. By the way, that's the other thing I was going to say. So right now, I am triple natted. This stream is triple natted. My computer is plugged into my Dream machine, which is plugged into another Dream machine, which is then plugged into a router. How many nats do you think we could go through before things just fall apart? Let me know. I think it'd be a really fun video. It'd be kind of pointless. Might be, but I think it would just be fun to see how many times we could get natted before things fall apart. JH says, I just saw a new gas station put up a sign with four price digits. That's crazy. So I'm in a couple industry groups on Facebook, and they're speculating that by September, gas will be $10 a gallon average in the United States. Good morning, After Dark. Yeah. All right. So Weibo says Ecuador has USD, so they are on the freedom dollars. That is, by the way, people get upset when I say that. It's just a joke. Don't take it so hard. Weibo says Ecuador has USD, luckily, due to it being an oil exporter. I don't have the recent bill here, but for the elderly, it has a subsidy on it. So my father-in-law pays the bill. Gotcha. Weibo says UK is in liters. Yeah, gas is $4.39 in Nashville. It's $5.29 here. JH says 11 nats. Don't ask. Jason says 11. Albert says 6. Weibo says, I think you can go pretty deep on nat as long as you don't overlap ranges in the stack of them, but it won't work very well if you want to host anything. Most recent software is pretty robust. So one of the things that's really nice about the new Teleport VPN, which is based on WireGuard from Ubiquiti, that is now available on the Dream Machine and the Dream Machine Pro, and I think the SE and the Dream Router, and is speculated to be coming soon for the UXG, is it works through double NAT. So James, my friend and my tech that does some programming of gear that's here, uses Teleport to get through the double NAT, so we don't necessarily have to have a site-to-site VPN, and it's fantastic. Bob Carpenter says, has anyone got a 6E Wi-Fi worth purchasing yet? So we can't talk about products that are in EA from Ubiquiti, but Grandstream has not said anything to me about having a 6E. So I don't know. They're already talking about Wi-Fi 7, and we don't even have Wi-Fi 6 rolled out, right? It's all about marketing and keeping the money coming in. And marketing is like a train wreck these days, right? They put out some of the most crazy things and crazy, like, this AP can do this. It can iron your clothes and make you ramen noodles while you get 800 megabits down. No, it can't. It can't. Marketing propaganda. In fact, there's EduIT guy. He's in Australia. He had a channel he was maintaining for a while. And one of the things that we were going to do is we were going to do marketing BS videos, right? So you know, and some of this stuff, like when you have APs that say they support 1,500 clients, sure, they support 1,500 connected clients, not 1,500 clients trying to send and receive at the same time large amounts of data. So, and I wish I'm trying to design a way, if you remember, I was asking for somebody to help me get some Raspberry Pis. I'm trying to design like a portable thing that has hundreds of Wi-Fi clients that will automatically connect and stress test an AP in a wireless system. Now, I know for a fact that Ubiquiti RF engineers have this thing. It's a rack, and it just has, but they've custom designed it. They've custom built it, you know. So, because I want to test some of this stuff, you know, when they say 200 clients. All right, let me stick 200 clients on an AP and see what happens. Let's see. Good afternoon, Jim, the IT guy. T.N. Bighorn says, that's scary, Willie, because I've got to come up to Central Illinois June 25th for a class reunion. I guess I need to fill up in Kentucky. Hey, email me and let me know where you're going to be at in Central Illinois, because that's what they call where I'm at, right? So, JH says, you run into some hop limits after 11, or at least I did. I'll check it out. Maybe we'll do that. I'll have to see how many small routers I've got so I can lay them all out on the desk, and we can just keep adding them and seeing what happens. Ryu says 465 is West Texas, diesel up to 570. So diesel's over $6 a gallon here. Weebo says, I'm waiting for the EA6E AP. No idea when it's coming out, but it looks like the way to go if you're spending the money. We'll have to see, right? You know, we are still selling and installing Wi-Fi 5 devices, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with Wi-Fi 5 devices. They're going to continue to work for a long time. Yes, the teleport is coming to the UXG Pro. You have access to that same information that I do, but we're not supposed to talk about it on this forum. You have to talk about it on the Ubiquiti forum. TVJ says, I loved your IPv6 meme from yesterday. Yeah, IPv6 it'll on the WAN side it'll be there, but hopefully I'll be retired by the time people think that they need to deploy it internally. There's no need to deploy IP version 6 inside your network for most people. Aragorn says, yeah, it's coming. It's coming. After Dark says 6 gigahertz for WISPs is getting a lot of hype, but it's still early. Mimosa is showing some data. Yeah, Mimosa. I know a couple people who deploy Mimosa, but so if you didn't see the retweet that I did yesterday, Ubiquiti released a video, and they are going to be releasing some game-changing ISP gear, and I cannot wait to get my hand on it because we do consulting on point-to-point, point-to-multipoint. I don't do a lot of videos on it, but it is something that we do, and it's something we're very proficient at because we've got a lot of real world hands-on. But they are going to change the game. Jim, the IT guy, says, could you not just find 200 old phones? That's a good idea. That's a good idea. And then all I need to do is get like those big USB things where you can plug like 40 devices in and charge them at one time. That is a hell of an idea, Jim. Hope you don't mind. I'm writing that down. If you've got old cell phones that you'd like to donate to the cause that can do 5 gigahertz, let me know. Hit me up down at williehowe.com. And the thing is, right, cell phones usually only have one antenna, so it takes a lot more horsepower for your AP to deliver information quickly to a single antenna than it does where you've got 3 antennas, right? So we would really, really take it easy, JH. We'll see you. You would really, really be able to stress test that. Yes, that's a good idea. So if you got phones, email me. Oh, T and Bigger, you're going to be in Decatur, so you're still like almost an hour and a half from Peoria. Hey, Jason, I appreciate that, but I'm thinking we're going to go with the phone route. Weibo says, my network has the Wi-Fi 5 Pros. They work just fine. Yeah, the Unify AP-AC Pros are fantastic. Gibby says, yes, marketing sucked big time. 8K TVs. There's still not a lot of content for 4K. Yeah, and that's how they keep pushing the markets and sucking the dollars out of people's pockets. Weibo says, if they only had the VPN client for Windows. Yeah, I've asked about when that's coming. I don't have an answer on that yet. And Weibo says, Unify is improving a lot recently to the point where I may flip back to EA as it appears more stable. Yeah, let me know how that works out. Gibby says, I run a lot of this marketing in our industry. Gibby, fix the marketing. Fix the marketing. This is for Joe Trelli. We need to fix the marketing. After Dark says, I want the 60 gigahertz from UI. Yeah, it looks good. I've got some 60 gigahertz devices sitting right over there. We're going to get to a video on those. Those I bought myself. Bob says, okay, I'll buy it. Do you have one example of someone who would need to run IP version 6 internally and externally? I see IPv6 addresses and just put my head in the sand. So I work with an ISP who has some customers, and the customers are convinced that IP version 6 is actually faster, right? So these customers are like, we got to have IP6. We got to have IP6. Okay, that's fine. If the customer wants it, the ISP is going to deliver it. Otherwise, over something so silly, they're going to lose customers. There are huge multinational companies, probably, Bob, that could run it internally, but I don't know. Cajoling says, thoughts on the beacon from UI. Joe, if you go back and look at a video that I did, I have the beacon, and I'm actually going to put a poll out because I've got a lot of different devices, and I want to know what combinations of devices folks want to see. After Dark says, LOL, 3D print a rack mount cell phone holder for 30 phones. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. So Dave Robertson says, loving my GWN 7630s. Yeah, wait till you run the 7664, my friend. It's a beast. It's a beast. Jim, the IT guy, says, newer, faster. You need this. Like 10 gigabit for home networks. People do not need 10 gigabit. They want 10 gigabit. We do traffic studies for businesses because somebody's like, we got to have 10 gig. Oh, really? Okay, so let's study your 1 gig links. And then they don't even saturate 50% of a 1 gig link. So then they're trying to justify 10 gig. We want 10 gig. And in my home lab, if I want 10 gig, I'm going to run it. But do I need it? No. Although you will all be glad to know that I am getting close to a petabyte of storage here. I'm getting close. Close. Roar says, set up a bunch of VMs with a Wi-Fi USB adapter connected to each of them. Yeah, I don't have that kind of hardware. It's not a bad idea, but I don't have that kind of hardware. Fru guy says, my work has been getting nano HDs when we need new APs. I'm not a fan of the nano HD. I mean, I'm not going to tell you not to buy it, but it's just not for me. Gibby says, Dave Robertson, me too. That's our go-to APs now. Yeah, so the Grandstream's going to have the switches coming out. They updated the firmware on this router that I've got right here. It's now a business firmware instead of a home firmware. They are going to try to lock horns with Ubiquiti. Fru guy says, my personal U6 Lite kicked the bucket a couple weeks ago. Won't power on. My ACLR is still trucking. Well, U6 Lite, if you bought it from Ubiquiti, it should still be under warranty. It hasn't been out for 2 years. I don't think, but Ryu says, I still don't use IPv6 internally too much of a headache for, yeah. And I get, people want IP version 6 videos. I guess I could just do one real easy. Hurricane Electric has a free IP version 6 certification where they train you on IP6 and you can take the test. Maybe you should do that. After Dark says, we already use a 60 point-to-point and 60 LR. Love them. Our longest is 5 miles at full gig. Yes, but when you say full gig, so you're getting, but it's not, that 60 gigahertz is not actually full duplex, right? It's full duplex performance. So we're back to the marketing stuff, right? We just take up so much of the spectrum that it doesn't matter. We don't care. And it's not, I'm not picking on any one vendor specifically. I'm just saying, like, yeah. Marcus Taylor says, why is there such a shortage of Ubiquiti equipment? Well, because it's popular, first of all. And if you want to know what's coming out every morning, follow me on Twitter. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, because while I'm drinking my morning coffee, I am posting links to what's being released on the store. They are affiliate links, full transparency there. But yeah, follow me. The Twitter is down below, and a lot of people are able to get what they need. Second of all, there's a chip shortage that is affecting everybody, not just Ubiquiti. Fru Guy says, U6 Lite is in the RMA process. USPS delivered it to them yesterday. Now the wait begins. Yeah, they'll take care of you. Yes, we like eating UPS's Gainery. Albert says, how do you like the video, the Unify Wave? That's the stuff I was talking about. Unify Wave is going to be a game changer for anybody in the WISP game that wants to use Ubiquiti. Yeah, so Dave, the GWN7664 is that big Wi-Fi 6 AP. It's got a 2.5 gig port and a 1 gig port. And in a future firmware, you're going to be able to lag those to get a complete 3.5 gigabit of throughput on the LAN. So if they can hurry up and get that firmware out, they're going to beat most everybody else to that game in this portion of the market. All right, I want to thank you all for being here this Saturday morning. I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're going to be awesome. Go do something fantastic. Be healthy. Be awesome. Be good to each other. And thank you for being here. All the affiliate links and everything are down below. And as always, I will see you in the next video.